Oh, perfect tea temperature. Hey everyone! Today I'm doing a video about something everyone experiences at some point in their life, whether you're at uni, travelling, or just living away from home in general, and that is homesickness. Homesickness is something that is completely natural because you're just away from your comforts and what you've grown up with, and it's something that every single person goes through, so it's in no way like a bad thing if you're experiencing it. But here are just a few tips that I've kind of accumulated over the past couple of months and how I personally like to deal with it, and hopefully that'll help some of you out. I need to drink this quickly, otherwise it's going to get too cold. Okay, now I've just got a prop. Okay, so the first tip I've got is to keep yourself busy. This is something that's actually quite easy to do, as long as you like think about strategically what you can do and don't like procrastinate, which is something that I'm very guilty of. But there's always something that you can do that isn't just sitting in your room thinking and wallowing in your own little bubble. So this might be as simple as literally just going out for a walk, putting in your music. That's something that really helps me. Last week when I was having a bit of a wobble, I was trying to do some work, but this constant like the homesickness bug kind of started infecting my brain, and I was really struggling to concentrate. So I literally was like, right, I'm gonna stop for now. I'm going to take like an hour and just put my headphones in, go for a walk. I was listening to Jodie Clark and I absolutely love her so much. And I just went for a lovely walk in like the sunset, and then came back and my brain was all refreshed and I was ready to go. And it was honestly like, that is the number one thing that I recommend, going for a walk. It gives you like loads of fresh air, a bit of exercise. It's like perfect cure. Another thing that I've got is to join like clubs or groups and something that you can socialise in, and something that's like going to be a big distraction. It doesn't so much tie into travelling, but if you're at uni or you're doing a job that is far away from home, joining something separate from that, separate from your work, is going to be such a good distraction from you. Not only does it mean that you can kind of shut off the work mode for a bit and just focus on something different, it is another form of distraction and socialising, and that is really going to help you like get out of your bubble and to just focus on something else. And kind of moving on to that, I also thought seeing someone or talking to somebody else is a really good thing to do, because then you can tell them that you're feeling homesick, but you can also just talk about anything, and that in itself is going to distract you instantly, because you're going to be focusing on that person and in that situation. Those thoughts that were worrying you before aren't going to be playing as much of a role like in that instant, so that's a really good thing I think would be helpful. Another really important thing is to learn what you like as a person and how to be your best company. So this is something that I kind of learned throughout the summer of this year, because I spent a lot of time at home alone, and rather than spend all day every day revising, I tried to keep it like I would revise in the morning and the afternoon and then have the evening free, or I'd revise in the morning and the evening, have the afternoon free. I just have one section of the day that's free, and in that time you've got to really learn what entertains you and what you like to do to keep yourself preoccupied, busy and not bored essentially. So rather than literally just sitting on a phone and scrolling aimlessly through social media for hours, as it's easy to do, but find something that you enjoy. Maybe that's a hobby, whether it be like collaging, writing poems or reading a book, something like that, that's just, you can sit and relax, but you're giving yourself something back whilst doing it, if that makes any sense. So after you know what you enjoy, you can then tie this in easily to when you're feeling that away from home, and you can make sure you take some quality me time to do those things. So personally, me, if I'm having a bad day in the evening, I look forward to going back and like coming back to my room, making my bed all cosy, getting into my pyjamas, making a nice cup of tea, and just putting on a face mask and watching film or TV, like something like that. That might not be the same for you. A lot of people say taking baths is really nice. I personally don't really like baths. They stress me out because they get too hot, and also it's something you can do at uni. But a little bit of self-care is definitely worth the time. Also making sure you do things that you used to do when you're at home, whether that be go for a walk or read a book, or sitting down and just watching a film. There's always times at home you'll find where you're actually just by yourself. You're not with your family 24/7. You're not doing something 24/7. Think back to what you used to do when you're at home and take that time for yourself, and that will help you like kind of remind you of home a little bit without necessarily being too much to deal with. Another thing which I kind of touched on earlier was actually talking to someone and telling people that you feel a bit upset, whether that be ringing home or just telling someone in your situation and around you, because especially at university there is bound to be someone, you don't even have to walk 100 metres and someone else is feeling homesick. Like honestly, it's such a common thing. You are not alone, and if you find someone else that's feeling the same, talk to each other, like pour your heart out to them, and then genuinely afterwards you just feel so much better. I don't know what it is, but talking to someone and getting all those emotions out into the open is so helpful. And even if there isn't anyone to talk to, just writing it out or drawing little pictures about how you feel, which is what I would actually do because I like quite a drawing arty type of person. I think it can really help with your mental clarity. Then following on from that, think about the positives of your situation rather than dwelling on the negatives. So if you think about all the positive experiences that you've had so far, rather than think, I'm missing home so much, then you're just naturally going to be in a happier place, if that makes sense. So if you think, rather than everything from home that you're missing, think about everything that you've done since being here that has brought you genuine joy and made you almost forget about being at home. Whether that's a specific joke that was told with your new friends, or a specific thing you saw, or just a day that you just felt so happy and didn't stop smiling. Think about that, and think about how, if you were at home, that wouldn't have happened. So thinking about the positives will naturally make you happier and change your mindset. It will really make you realise that you don't need your home comforts to make you happy, and that you can find joy in other things. I know it's really hard, and I particularly felt earlier this week that I really wanted my home routine and my surrounding area, like the runs I used to go on and all the different walks I used to do, and I felt like without that I couldn't necessarily be happy. But then I realised that I've been on some really nice runs and seen some really nice things since being here, and I don't need that old routine and those familiarities to just bring happiness. Also, something you can do once you've been feeling like this for some time, or in different instances, is you can recognise the signs quite early. If you sort of notice those waves of anxiety or worry coming back to you, you can nip it in the bud earlier and make sure you take time for yourself and look after yourself. Those are naturally going to happen. They're like waves of an ocean, but if you notice it early, then it's not going to be as damaging when it hits you. Maybe keeping a journal might be helpful. This is something that I've been doing for a while, and it's helped me keep track of my emotions. And also in my planner, in my diary, I have like a little colour mood chart for every day, and at the end of the day I sort of colour it in a colour that represents my mood for that day, like yellow if I'm super happy, for example. So that will really help you keep track on your mood, and especially if it is a journal, you can look back on your happy days and think, what is it that made me happy that day? Is that something I can repeat now? And then you might be able to recognise the patterns when you felt saddest. Is that when a particular event occurs? Is that a particular day of the week? And these will also help you nip it in the bud as early as possible. And finally, I think you should really tell people at home if you're feeling like this. Obviously you don't want to worry them, and it's particularly hard like telling my mum I miss home, but just a little thing like sending her a text like, I really love you, or I really miss you, that not only makes them realise that you're thinking about them, but it also is another way of you outpouring your emotion and just telling someone about it. The most important thing to remember is that you cannot be ashamed, and every single person feels this way, and you are not alone. So I hope this video has been helpful, and if it helps at least one person, like if you're feeling a little bit down, then that will mean so much to me. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and please give it a thumbs up if you did, or leave some comments down below if you can share some advice with other people. And again, I'll leave my Instagram link in the description box, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye guys!